Hi everyone, I hope you're all doing really well. So, today's podcast video is going to be about answering a specific comment I received, and it had a lot of questions in the comment. And I thought that it would be useful to cover this in the form of a podcast video so that many other people who think like that can also benefit from this, and it can answer some common questions that we have on the twin flame journey. So this was about what is really this mirroring, and it almost seems like a twin flame catchphrase or something like that, but it's actually not a catchphrase. um, when you say that twin flame mirroring is not really real, or what it exactly is, when you don't really understand it in depth, this is what I want to just speak about today. Firstly, I want to say that how our twin flame makes us feel. For instance, we can feel betrayed, we can feel sad, angry, upset with them, we can be in a space of not forgiving them. All those feelings that you're feeling are valid. Alright? The feeling is never invalid. You never have to invalidate how you felt in a particular situation with a particular person. If you felt invalidated, you felt sad, angry, betrayed, that feeling is very, very valid. You always have to acknowledge how you felt. And based on that feeling, now you have to have a response to love yourself deeply. Alright? So if, let us say, in this conversation, if your twin flame had maybe promised something and then they did not keep that word, and that is something I think that most divine feminines have faced on this journey, that our twin flame said something and then they did not see that through, and we started to feel that we are betrayed, or that we can't trust them again, that they lied to us and all of that. And that feeling is absolutely valid, because that is what your inner self felt in that moment. But what is this mirroring? When I say that this is being mirrored back to you, or when somebody else tells you this mirroring is, see, this essentially, the concept of mirroring is that everything in the universe is you mirrored without. By this I mean that you are creating a reality constantly. This is the concept in all spiritual teachings. Even the law of karma is just this. What you are experiencing right now, you have created in the past. You may not have created it consciously, and this is a spiritual awakening, that now you start creating your life consciously. By conscious creation, it does not just mean that you wish upon a stone and you make a manifestation, law of attraction happen. It's very unfortunate how law of attraction diminishes some very big things, especially like common videos will tell you manifest this, manifest that. You really have to go deeper and see you're already manifesting everything all the time. This is how creation happened. So some deeper spiritual wisdom is necessary, before we touch upon mirroring and other things. So this is what I will try to impart. But in your own time, go deep within and read more about karma. There is a book by Sadhguru on karma. Read more about what Neville Goddard had to say. I think he unpacked a lot about how everything that happens in the universe is basically a mirroring of what you have within you. If I have wounds of rejection within me, if as a child I experienced a lot of rejection, then in my adult life I am going to have relationships which are going to mimic that rejection based relationship I had as a child with either of my parents. Now this is basic psychology as well. Even psychologists testify to this, and many life coaches who work on relationships will tell you that to heal an adult relationship pattern, you have to go back to your childhood and you have to heal what you went through as a child. Alright? This keeps otherwise showing up in your life. Now, this is one aspect of this. The other aspect of this now, because when you meet your twin flame, you go through a complete spiritual awakening. So nothing of your former self remains in this journey. So that means that because it is a spiritual awakening, you have to now Start understanding the laws of spirituality, the laws of nature, the laws of life. Law of attraction is actually a law of life. Law of creation of your life, you being the creator of your life, is a law of life. Everybody is able to create what they are creating. No experience is good or bad for the soul. Somebody may be going through a very difficult experience, but it is just an experience. The morality of the experience being good, bad, painful, sad is all something that the mind is attributing to the experience. The experience by itself is completely pure and has little to nothing to do with the experience by itself. You are a soul, and the connection with your twin flame is a connection that is happening at the soul level. It has nothing to do with your mind. But because you're not operating from your soul, and many times we end up operating from our ego selves. Many times, I would say 99.999% of the times, unless we are very much in the present moment, we are experiencing a lot of love and peace within us with how we are, where we are at, complete acceptance of the present moment. We end up acting from a space of our mind, and our mind has a lot of wounding. The journey of twin flames, if you really are on a twin flame journey, and you testify to, yes, I am a twin flame and I'm on this journey, only then this is relevant to you. You may be in denial about it, or you may not even be on this journey. You've just come across the term on YouTube and you're just thinking you're on the journey, then in that case this may not apply to you. But your twin flame counterpart is going to mirror everything back to you. A soulmate will not do such proper mirroring. A soulmate will also, hold space for the wounds that you have. A soulmate may not trigger you on those wounds. That's not the purpose of the soulmate connection. But a twin flame is going to make you purge everything from your system. So now when you say, what has my twin flame mirrored back to me when they are not keeping their promise? Suppose in this instance, I'm just taking an instance for the sake of it. Have you kept a promise back to yourself? Sometimes if X person was to say that my twin flame is not committed to me, are you committed to yourself? Do you keep every promise you make to yourself? If you make a promise like, a small example, I'm going to wake up early tomorrow, I'm going to go for a walk, I'm going to do that meditation, I'm going to love myself, I'm going to work out, I'm really just going to eat very, very healthy, I know that's good for me, I am going to finish this task that I have undertaken, I am not going to obsess over, small things. Do you keep all of these promises to you? And somewhere you will notice that you don't, and that is not your fault. A lot of it is a state of energetic imbalance. When you come into a state of automatic energetic balancing, automatically you can start keeping promises to yourself, because that is also a trait of your masculine energy, and for that your energy has to be activated. So don't beat yourself up for it, but just saying that your twin is mirroring this back to you. Your journey of twin flame union and awakening is just a journey of self-love, self-empowerment, coming into your own power. How do you come into your own power? You come into your own power by feeling that strength within you. How do you feel that strength within you? When you are able to keep promises to yourself, when you are able to show up for yourself in every situation. If again you say, my twin flame doesn't show up for me, many divine feminines can have this pet peeve that my twin doesn't show up for me in difficult situations. You could be going through a very difficult situation. Maybe somebody passed away, or you lost your job, or something really painful happened, you're very sick, and your twin disappears on you, even when you tell them that this is what you're going through. And then you have this thing, oh, he didn't show up for me, but my karmic ex-boyfriend definitely showed up for me. That's all right. Just play along with life and see where that takes you. But the point is that your twin flame is you. Your twin flame is not another divine person, is not another human being. It is an outer manifestation of your inner divine masculine. So if your divine counterpart is not showing up for you in the physical, maybe you are spending too much time obsessing over their absence instead of showing up for yourself 100%. If you need to be consoled in a particular moment, you need to be shown a lot of strength. If you need a lot of self-care, you need love, maybe you need flowers because something bad happened, You need to be taken on a holiday because you've been burnt out at work. You need to, maybe take a break and go and have a nice, beautiful meal. All of this you have to do for yourself in this journey. Your divine counterpart will not do this for you till you are in a healed space. A complete state of energetic union within will only reflect outside as outer union, and then will start meeting all of these expectations, so called expectations that you have. Because by the time your divine counterpart starts showing up for you in the physical, you will not even have these expectations of them. You would already be living this life that you're living. Okay? So this is not that your divine counterpart is being cruel or something. See, understand that spiritually speaking, again, suffering, there is always a reason behind suffering. Somebody had asked Ramana Maharishi, what is the point of suffering? Ramana Maharishi was an enlightened sage. You can read up more about him. You can look at his pictures. His gaze is very famous. Recently, Eckhart Tolle also spoke of his gaze, of being in the present moment. And he said that the reason behind suffering is so that you are awakened to the illusion of life. Somebody had asked Sadhguru, Sadhguru, somebody cheated on me, my husband cheated on me, my boyfriend cheated on me and broke my heart into a million pieces. And he immediately said, don't use this terminology. They have awakened you to the illusion of all of this. Many people are married and their husbands or wives die. Many people have situations where they are with someone else. They discover that their other half or their whatever spouse has been with someone else. Or they discover that there is a divorce, which comes up. Or they discover immense incompatibility, or they discover a lot of gaslighting in relationships. So all the people who do all of these things to you, Sadhguru said, they're doing you a favor because they are bringing you out of this illusion of depending on somebody else. And your divine counterpart is the biggest favor doer for you. I mean, if that is a term, they are doing you the biggest favor ever by triggering you in all places where you don't love yourself, where you don't show up for yourself, where you feel less empowered, where you feel that it is necessary for somebody else to show up for you, where somebody else has to keep their word for you to be happy, for you to feel better about your life. You're absolutely in a state of disempowerment. A state of empowerment is when whatever somebody else is doing to us, whatever somebody else is saying to us, whatever somebody else is acting like, it is not determining how we are feeling. And if you are getting very triggered by this and you're saying, no, but this is but obvious, this, understand that this is your ego right now, which has to go through an ego death. You are responsible for your life completely, whatever the hell may happen. And if you want to understand the context of whatever the hell may happen, see, very bad things happen in this world. We already know it. So somebody still, doing whatever it is that they're doing to you, the response is something which is in your hands. It may have a karmic, um, you know, reason behind it, because it's every action has an equal and opposite reaction kind of a thing. So your twin flame or anybody else, let us say your parent or anyone else, is doing something to you, is hurting you in some ways. It may be because there is a karmic reason behind you having done this either in this life or a past life. If you are curious enough, you can go and discover this, the origin of this. If you wish to, if it is something that really bothers you, it's very possible to do it. If you're not, you can just accept it, that okay, this is every law, the law of physics, every action has an equal and opposite reaction. Right now, if I'm seeing the reaction, I know that I may have done some action to invite in this reaction. That is one thing, that you accept it. Secondly, now you start looking at how to break out of this karmic cycle. The only way you can break out of this karmic cycle of bad things happening to you is to change your response to it. That is where your free will lies. You can't control what things will happen to you. The plans that life has made for you, you can't control the arrow that you shot 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 5 minutes ago. But you can very well control or determine the response you will give to certain situations in your life. This is the way you break cycles. All right. So this is exactly what this twin flame journey is about. It has not the union and the romance of having a beautiful counterpart is a byproduct of your spiritual awakening. It's a byproduct of you coming into your power, your energies balancing. Every individual has both energies present with them. So don't give your power away to your divine counterpart or anyone and say that they are the ones responsible for me feeling miserable. But take the power back and see what is it that they are reflecting back to you. And in the twin flame journey, specifically, our divine counterpart mirrors back to us all the places where we are not showing up for ourselves. We will be surprised how they show up. They show us places where it's the most unrelated things. For instance, karmic relationships are just that. Any kind of other thing that you see your divine counterpart doing is just reflecting back to you where you don't love yourself, where you have dismissed yourself, where you think you are unworthy. And you will think you don't think like that. Trust me, I used to think, no, I don't think I'm unworthy. I do so much to prove my worth and value every day to myself and to everyone. Precisely this was the problem. Why is there a need to prove anything? And the more I dug deep and deep and went deeper and deeper and had a communication with my inner self, the more I reached that place. It wasn't an easy place to reach because sometimes I did not wish to have this communication. If you want to know more about this, you can check out the video I made on inner child work, and you will understand why that resistance comes in. But essentially, the more I went deeper and deeper and somewhere, fought through that resistance inside me, which did not want me to look deep in the pain, in the abyss of why I don't think I'm worthy, the more I was able to uncover thousands of instances, quite literally, where I had felt unworthy, where I had felt not deserving of love. And they were present in all aspects and areas of my life, with my body, with my mind, with how I perceived myself to be, with the tiniest and the smallest of things which otherwise seemed to be incredibly innocuous, but they had had a deep impact on me. And whom could I have held responsible for this? Herein, in my situation, it very clearly came from the way I was raised and certain relationships that I had as a child with my parents. Alright? But in this journey of going through a spiritual awakening, I have to go beyond the psychology and I have to open my heart and offer forgiveness. And if I'm truly spiritual, I've spoken of this, even going back to a past life sometimes with the help of a past life regression therapist or getting a reading done or something from some people that you truly trust, not just people that you've come across here and there. They can throw light on as to why you have faced certain repetitive patterns in your life. And that really makes you accept this whole journey, makes you accept the journey of your life. Never give your power away to anyone. One more aspect before I close this is that always remember that you never have to be in self-victimization energy on this journey with anybody. And you can spend years and years thinking somebody did something wrong to me. My mother wronged me, my father wronged me, my brother wronged me, my ex-boyfriend wronged me, my divine counterpart really wronged me. And how? Okay? Life is unfair to me. If you want to stay in this, then you will keep being in this pattern for many, many months and many years sometimes. But if you start to take responsibility for everything and you say, I create my life, I'm responsible for everything. Now what has happened has happened. Let me change going forward how I will respond to the situations, what I will consciously create now, how I am experiencing my life. It is in my hands. And let me start to experience my life the way I wish to experience it, the way it is in alignment with my highest good. This is where the shift will happen for you. But yes, I know this is easier said than done. It does not happen till you have a spiritual presence within you which is more magnified than your egoic presence. And how you magnify your spiritual presence is by meditating. If you're new to meditation, I always say you can start off with Isha Kriya. It is on YouTube. It is a 15-minute guided meditation that will help you in understanding and creating a separation barrier from your mind and your body. And you can have more control with regards to the narrative that your ego keeps playing out about self-victimization, about being wronged by other people. And you can start to shift it only when you have a separation from it, when you can see yourself as not being the one who is building that narrative, but it just being a mental drama, okay? And one more thing, just addressing this aspect of the comment that I'd received from the subscriber. um, it's not that you can always build your boundaries with everyone. When your divine masculine energy rises within you, just ensure the wording that I'm using, pay attention to it. Your masculine energy rising within you, nothing to do with your outer divine counterpart. You can hold your boundaries. Nobody is asking you to accept bad behavior. If you feel your twin flame is abusive towards you, please cross check. Most likely it's not your twin flame, it is some karmic connection that you are labeling as twin flame because you've come across the term twin flames. It's most likely not your twin flame connection. Twin flames don't abuse each other. Can you ever imagine abusing your twin flame? Absolutely not. Similarly, it's the other way around as well. Secondly, you want to have a barrier with your twin flame where you want to say, I want to look out for myself. If your twin flame comes again and is not behaving in a way you expect them to, and your inner self is guiding you to create a barrier, to create a boundary with them, to not entertain them, to maybe not talk to them in that moment, that is perfectly okay. But eventually you have to enter a space of forgiveness. If this really is your twin flame, you have to forgive them. You have to enter that space of seeing that everything that they do is mirroring back to you. The wounding that you carry, how you're not showing up for yourself is how they don't show up for you. It's very deep work. Okay, the mirroring is very deep. This is what that mirroring is. With twin flames, it is more perfect than how it will be with soulmates or karmics or other people in our lives. That is why this is the real spiritual awakening and everything else is normal life. So you can always decide what your inner self guides you to do. Place yourself first, of course. Nobody is asking you to entertain bad behavior, but keep forgiveness in your heart. Everyone, not just your twin. If you're not ready to forgive right now, that's okay. At some point of time you have to. Because when you don't forgive, your heart chakra is blocked. You have to understand the soul has come here only to have experiences in life. Okay? So if you keep resentment in your heart, that will block your heart and you will not be able to experience anything of profound value in your life if your heart is blocked. This has been my experience because my heart chakra was always blocked. And I used to keep grudges. It was difficult for me to let go, to forgive, to just forget about things. This is the biggest lesson that I learned, that it's so much easier if you forgive. If you understand that people are operating based on their consciousness levels. Alright? If somebody's consciousness level of awareness, of being in the present moment, or their self-awareness is limited, this is how they behave. They behave in ways which are not pleasant. And inevitably they end up hurting other people because their consciousness and self-awareness is limited. When I see it from that standpoint, I also forgive myself for the times in my life when I may have hurt people. Like as a teenager, I remember in my high school, I wasn't the kindest person. And sometimes, in my 20s, I used to think about how I was not very kind as a person back then. But then, when I understand that my consciousness level was just like that as a 15-year-old or a 14-year-old girl, then I forgive myself. Because at that time, this is the best I knew. I can see the insecurities that were fueling that kind of a behavior. So similarly, when I look at other people who have hurt me in any way or who hurt other people, I have to understand that their consciousness has just evolved to that point. Okay? And this is why they don't understand that their actions have consequences for others. So they can sometimes act in ways where they are not being compassionate to other people. So then I understand that, I respect it, I accept it, and I offer them forgiveness, mostly for myself, more than anything, because I don't want to carry that grudge or I don't want to carry that pain in my heart that blocks me out. So either you can use this philosophy to offer forgiveness to your twin flame if you feel ready to do it, or if you don't want to forgive them right now, that's all right. Go with the flow of life. At some point of time, you will offer forgiveness to them when you're ready. Or also remember, they are only mirroring back to you your own fears. You will notice this, that the way your relationship with yourself evolves, if you love yourself a lot, you start showing up for yourself, you start looking after yourself, you start having a deep, intimate relationship that you want with yourself, you will start to see your twin flame wanting the same things. But if you are afraid of having a deep, intimate relationship with yourself, it's not possible to have that relationship with anyone else. It's not just in twin flame dynamics, it's true for all dynamics. The more you know yourself, the more you know others, the deeper you can go with other people. This is very insightful, very, very insightful information I'm sharing. And I'm sharing this and I'm thinking about this for the first time. As you know, I never um, plan how I'm going to speak or what I'm going to speak about, and the what is slightly clear to me, but how the conversation will go, how the recording will go, it's never something that I pre-plan. So I'm just telling you this, that I've noticed this, that people who are not self-aware, who have not gone deeply into their own feelings and emotions, their childhood, how that impacted them, they've not understood themselves, their dialogue with their inner self is negligible, but instead they have focused their attention outside, either by masking the pain they feel, or by just going here and there and not really offering themselves that love and support they needed, but looking for it outside of them. You will never, if you are different from this and you are empathetic and you have done a lot of self work, you will never be able to have a deep relationship with these people, simply because they will not allow themselves to be seen in this way, because they themselves have not done that seeing first. This is very different for your twin flame journey, because with your twin flame, the fact that you are such perfect mirrors of each other, they are mirroring to you the wounding that you have not yet seen. So in many ways, the relationship that you yourself have not yet discovered with you, that is being shown to your twin flame. If your twin is doing anything to you right now, understand that that is what you are doing to yourself. So this is the spiritual awakening, the magic of the journey. That what you can't experience with someone else is what your twin is making you see. That this is the state of your relationship with yourself right now is like this. This can be very triggering. This is meant to be triggering so that you go deep within. And if you are, anybody listening is facing this situation where it's difficult for you to accept how your twin mirrors your lack of self-love to you, understand that this takes a long time to go deeper into self-love. It's not an overnight journey. It takes a minimum of 6 to 8 months, a minimum. It can take years as well. Simply because there are many places in our life where we are not loving ourselves. There are many places where we are not showing up. Many areas where we have dismissed ourselves. So, first of all, to convince yourself to look into those areas is a hard task. Then to start looking at those areas and looking at the resistances, surpassing those resistances is an even harder task. Then to start, sweeping bit by bit by bit, that also takes some time. Then more and more things keep coming up like the layers of an onion. Okay, then you keep addressing those things as well. This is the journey of twin flame awakening. This is the journey of your spiritual awakening. It's like going and cleaning that house that has not been opened up for many lifetimes, maybe. And it can take a while to start cleaning. You have to be more equipped sometimes to clean the stains that are very hard to clean. So, your own spiritual progress also keeps happening, and accordingly, you also keep getting more and more ready to look at some stains which have been there for lifetimes, some stains that are ancestral, or some wounding that has just been there for a very, 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 very long time. Okay, this is twin flame mirroring. I hope that this answers the question, of not just the subscriber who had asked this, and I tried to cover all the points, sending you a lot of love, but also for everyone else who has these doubts sometimes about what is this mirroring? Why am I being asked to take responsibility for the behavior of my twin flame? So understand that, because if this is your twin, there is mirroring. And secondly, like I said, if the behavior is very, very, very bad, it is abusive, it is something which is downright terrible, re-question if this is even your twin. Secondly, if you have the internal intrinsic guidance to create a form of boundary with your twin flame, please go ahead and follow that guidance, because you have to place yourself above your health, the way you look at your life, your self love, your self protection is primary. At this point of time, maybe you're not meant to come together and you're meant to work on yourself. So it's okay if you cut communication and you go into your shell and you start doing your healing. It's perfectly welcome to do that. All right? And you don't feel ready to forgive anybody, that's also okay. A point will come where you will be ready to forgive them. But always keep questioning yourself what keeping a grudge is doing to you. That is something we don't question enough. Like I said, it blocks your anahata, it keeps you from interacting more openly with life. So, in my opinion, I don't see any sense in keeping your heart blocked, because I had kept mine blocked. So, I know that that only causes more suffering, but I know that at the right time you will open your heart. Alright? This is all, guys. Have a beautiful, wonderful day. Sending you lots of love. Take care. Bye bye.